bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Fade to Black, Monday. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. Today's Monday, July 10th, 190 days into the new year, just 175 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? We had a great weekend. Did you? Yeah. Okay, so we released the video last night of the opening on the top of Mount Adams. Okay? It's out. The secret is out. Now, we don't know what it is up there, man. We don't. Nobody hiked up there. Nobody got some mountain climbing gear and headed up the mountain and took a peek. But we did the best that we could because we were taken by surprise. That's what happens when something like this occurs. Well, we released the video. Lots and lots and lots and lots of positive responses, lots of media requests, which is to be expected when something like this happens. But there's only one person to come on this show tonight to discuss it, and that is James Gilliland of ECETI Ranch. He's going to be here. We're going to talk about the door that just opened up on the top of Mount Adams. I'm calling it a door. It could be a cave. It's an opening. It is certainly something. And we were there to witness it. Now, I know that we did a tease all last week about this. And the reason why, let me be very clear. The reason why is because we wanted to make sure we had a lot of evidence. We had a lot of video and photographs, and we had to look at historical pictures of Mount Adams, and we had to make sure that we were on target here, in that it was an opening and it wasn't a shadow. It wasn't some strange, optical anomaly that was forcing our eyeballs to see this. One thing is for sure, and I want everybody to understand, from the observation area at ECETI, 13 miles away, you could see it with your naked eye, okay? You could just look at the mountain and see the opening. And it wasn't there on Thursday. And we were looking at the mountain and photographing it all day Thursday. So we're going to discuss this at length tonight with James Gilliland. We also have some breaking news. Also, there is a fire that is going on right now. It's about half hour outside of ECETI on the freeway there, and there was some communication issues today. I think we've got most of that worked out. We should be solid, but we had to work through that today too as well. And so our thoughts are with everybody up at ECETI. And this is the deal, man. That highway, there's only one way in and one way out of that town, right? That's it. Trout Lake is very small. 550 people, I believe, is the population there. So they have a little tiny general store. I don't even remember seeing a gas station, but they have to have a gas station. But everything else for that town, for ECETI, everything, all the supply, everything that you need, you've got to get on that freeway and drive an hour or two and then come back. So our thoughts are with everybody up there, and that it's just going to turn out to be okay. And we'll get an update on that from James here in just a few minutes. Tomorrow night on the show, get ready for this, as if tonight wasn't big enough, at least as if last week wasn't big enough. Tomorrow night, Bruce Gernon is going to be here. Bruce Gernon is going to be here to discuss his new book, Beyond the Bermuda Triangle. And you know Bruce. Bruce has done, 40 documentaries about on television about his experience in the Bermuda Triangle and the electric fog. Remember, with his plane, and he time traveled, and he went through a vortex. You remember the story. You remember his experience. Tomorrow night, Bruce Gernon, right here, exclusively on Fade to Black. It's going to be incredible. I cannot believe Bruce Gernon is going to be here tomorrow night on Fade to Black. And then Wednesday night, Costa McCrease and Hollis Polk are back. It's been a couple of years since they've been on Fade to Black, and we're going to talk about their project, E.T. Let's Talk, and making contact with E.T., two of the very best. Costa and Hollis will be here, both on Wednesday night. Thursday night's another Fader night with John Rappaport, and there's no more Fake Newsroom Live. Call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. It's that simple, at JChurchRadio. Okay, I got a little breaking news here. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Come and hang out with us on Twitter, hashtag F2BQ. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Okay, so a little breaking news. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing a simulcast with Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero. We do that every couple of months, and we're going to do that tomorrow night. It's so cool that two shows like Fade to Black and Ground Zero, we're friends, and we share an audience, and there you go. All right, and so we're going to do that, and we're going to talk about the ECETI discovery and the video that was released. And then on Wednesday, right, I'll be over on Dave Schrader's show, Beyond the Darkness, also to discuss that video that was just released. So we got a busy week here. And I've got Coast to Coast coming up the next 2 weekends. Ah, yes. I love it. I love sharing information and hanging out with all of you guys. Nothing but positivity here. That's all we do. I just don't have time for negativity. That's it, man. And I knew. I had said up at ECETI, it was really funny when this discovery was made. And I was like, man, I know I've got to go back to civilization, and we'll make a video. We're going to talk about this on the show. And then we're going to have to deal with the negativity, and I just don't care. I don't care. Don't have time for it. I don't. It was actually, it's actually kind of cool ignoring people. It's a weird feeling. Once you've released, you release, you let it go. You just let it go. Don't respond. Saw a really cool video of a lady talking about, I don't want to say who it was, but about how to deal with shaming, negativity, and narcissism with personal attacks. And it was really, I was like, wow, it was really, really cool. So I'm following that advice. There you go. All right. Where am I? Subscribe to our podcast. You know what to do. If you want to help support the show, go and subscribe to our podcast. Over 680 archive shows, custom apps, Apple, Android, all platforms, $2 a month. Updated every single day. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the podcast banner, or you can choose to become a Fadernaut, and that you go to our membership section. You get the bumper cam, commercial-free downloadable archives. You can even get the Fade to Black gear, autographed hats, T-shirts, all of that stuff. I think starting next week, if you guys want to start placing orders, I think next week we're gonna have T-shirts for the women. All right, T-shirts for the women. It's about time, right? Okay. All right. Don't forget all of our sponsors. Life Change Tea, getthetea.com. Ronnie McMullen's going to be here in a minute. River Moon Coffee, New Pharma, Studio Dome Speakers, and everybody that advertises here on Fade to Black. Go and visit all of our sponsors, and that's how this show happens. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to, today, Adrian Grenier. That's right. Adrian Grenier today is 41. Rascal Flatts frontman Gary Levox is 47. And I like Rascal Flatts. And you know why I like Rascal Flatts? I know I like my heavy metal, but Rascal Flatts is the country version of Van Halen. Now that I have just said that, go and listen to Rascal Flatts. Listen to the songs, listen to the lyrics, listen to how they have it laid out, listen to the guitar work, listen to the guitar player, and listen to everything. And just remember, I'm serious. They stole everything from Van Halen. They were like, you know what? We're all Van Halen, but let's do a country version of that, and it's going to be great. And it was, and it is. Happy birthday, Gary Lee Fox, 47 years old. All right, our dead guys' birthdays today are Ronnie James Dio. That's right, Ronnie James Dio and Nikola Tesla. Ronnie James Dio, 1942 to 2010, died at the age of 67. And as we all know, I have a great fondness for Ronnie, cool dude, and got to know him pretty well. And one of the greatest singers ever. And I think that most rock and roll fans, and I think most singers out there will tell you that Ronnie James Dio was one of the, if not the best singer ever. Happy birthday, Ronnie. We miss you every single day, but your kindness, your coolness, your voice, and everything about you and your music stays with us every single day. All right? And he knows that. He's listening right now. And Nikola Tesla, today, he died at the age of 86, 1856 to 1943. But without Nikola Tesla, you would not be listening to me right now. And think about that. Happy birthday, Nikola Tesla. On this day in history, OTD, 1925, in Dayton, Tennessee, the so-called monkey trial begins with John Thomas Scopes, a young high school science teacher, accused of teaching evolution in violation of a Tennessee state law. Now, the law, which had been passed in March of 1925, made it a misdemeanor punishable by a fine, and I'm quoting here, this is the law, to teach any theory that denies the story of the divine creation of man as taught in the Bible, and to teach instead that man had descended from a lower order of animals, end quote. Right? Yeah. And he was found guilty. And as crazy as it sounds, the constitutional issues in this case were unresolved until 1968. Yeah. Think about that. And it didn't get overturned until the United States Supreme Court came in and whacked a similar Arkansas law. Wow, 1968. Isn't that crazy? All right. I'll follow up with a fader fact really quick. In 2007, Scotland spent 125,000 pounds of national money devising a new national campaign slogan. It was a contest, and the winning entry was, are you ready? Get ready for it. Are you ready? The winner was, welcome to Scotland. Ba-dum-bump. Man. All right. I got to bring on Ronnie McMullen. Can you believe that, Ronnie? The winner, welcome to Scotland. You could have written that.
Yeah, I think so. Funny what entertains people.
Right? And think about that. 125,000 pounds. Get this huge campaign going. They need a new slogan, and that's the best that Scotland can do. It's good, But I think
it was a real think tank.
Yeah, right. My 5-year-old daughter would have said, "How about welcome to Scotland?"
Jeez.
How you doing, my friend? How was your weekend?
I'm doing good. It was great. How about you?
It was great for me because, as I told you today, Rita and I brewed up some pomegranate tea on Friday. And Rita gave me the rules. It was really funny. She goes, "Okay, church, this is what we're doing this weekend." And I got to say, man, that pomegranate super strength is the real deal. And I didn't think, Ronnie, tell me how you came up with this, because the original tea tastes great. It's healthy and it does things for you, but it's very, very drinkable, which makes it dangerous because you just want to keep chugging it, right? Yeah. But yeah, you laugh. But the pomegranate
you be running.
Yes, totally. But the pomegranate tea, that is some thirst quenching, very, very delectable stuff, which also makes it a little bit dangerous because it's fun to drink. It tastes great. But we had a great weekend because of that. I want to thank you for that. But how did you think of the pomegranate and what makes it so special? And don't say pomegranate.
Pomegranate. No, yes, that's right. I'm not supposed to say that. No, the reason I went after pomegranate, and we got other things in the work too, because we're king of the teas over here, just like you're king of the radio, the big kahuna.
Okay.
But, the pomegranate, everybody was saying, boy, I wish I had a little bit of, flavor. I poured into my apple juice or I poured into my orange juice. And I'm like, oh, you're killing me. The tea's great on its own.
Right.
So I thought, why not just have a flavor that's just kind of slight? And just, we had a few sweet tooths out there, but I don't want to kill the diabetic store. They can't have my tea. So we put a little bit of stevia in it, just a very little bit. And then, of course, it's got moringa and aloe that's added to it, which is great. So it's not as strong as our super tea, but it still packs a little bit of a punch, and it's really an energy booster.
Well, if you want it, okay. Well, that's an interesting point, but you can brew it to your own strength, right? I mean,
you can. I mean, it would just take more strength of the pomegranate to equal the super. It's just the super's a little bit more, And pomegranate sits around, and it's something that, like, let's say you had, so you have some people over for dinner, and you make the super tea.
Right.
You might lose your people. Depending on what they eat and how they eat.
Right.
You could serve the pomegranate tea, and they would be like, yeah, this is good.
Yes, I was drinking the pomegranate tea with every meal this weekend.
Yeah, it doesn't, and it brings your energy, and it does cleanse you, but it's just very slight. So people that have like really tummy problems or whatever, this is probably right up their alley. And people that just say, hey, I'd like to drink more tea. If I drink more of the super tea, I could be in trouble. But I really like to drink the tea, then the pomegranate's for them.
Yeah, the tea was amazing.
You can drink it a lot.
The tea was amazing. And I just want to remind all of our listeners that being on this program is an important thing for yourself and your family. Everything that you don't know about that is in your digestive tract and in your stomach all the time that you just don't know about, me talking about it right now makes me uncomfortable, but it's there. I mean, things that even could be alive, right? So, and this tea corrects you. And it's absolutely amazing. I will admit that the first time through last year, 2 years ago now, I don't know.
It's almost 2.
Yeah, almost 2 years ago, scared me. It did. It really, I was like, wow. But the second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, you're on the program and you're cool. I know we're scaring people right now, but
it's like Jerry Doyle used to say, regular as a baby bird. And I think that's really, once you drink it a lot, you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, that goes away because your stomach is tuned.
Right.
And the other thing too is really works on your tummy, because let me tell you, your gut flora is very, very important. And a lot of things we eat and drink jack it up.
Well, and the first time too, as well, you're correcting years of abuse, right? That's the other thing, And once that, then it's less as what's the word I want to use?
Less is more.
Yeah, the next time around. Hey, Ronnie, I wanted to ask you. So we have a new promo code too as well. We don't have it up.
Yeah, we got to tell them the promo code, and you got to tell them about how great the packaging is. I really outdid myself on the Formula 13.
Yeah. I don't. I do have. I don't have any here in the studio. Oh. Okay, I'll do that on the break. I think I have some in the studio.
No, you don't have to
door.
show it to them. That'll give it. They can go to get the tea and look at it. But I'm just saying, I want you to comment on it.
Yeah, the packaging is great, and it's how do I say this?
It's just great.
What?
That's it.
Well,
that's how I get out of the big kahuna.
Okay,
Been with you a couple years, and I just get. It's great. That's
okay,
it.
you know how great it is. I thought I got the wrong stuff in the mail. That's how great it is. I mean, I opened it up and I was like, this isn't Ronnie's stuff. This stuff is packaged great. But stuff looks pro.
That's good.
Okay, it's true.
No, it was cool. I love the Formula car. I mean, I just think it's cool.
Yes. It's very high tech.
It kind of gives you the idea that this stuff races through you.
It's high tech, man. It's high tech packaging. So the new promo code, everybody, we don't have it up, but it's Fader, Fader. That's how much Ronnie loves you. I didn't even think about the promo code. Ronnie came up with it himself. So the new promo code for Get the Tea, Life Change Tea, is Fader, Fader. Okay? Now, I wanted to ask you about the oregano oil, and I want to do this really quick because, see, again, we're laughing. The oregano oil is pretty potent, and it did a bunch of things to me.
Well, you're a liquids
Friday.
man, so you thought it was just like the moringa and the orange juice or the orange juice. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
The vitamin C. You
right.
can see orange juice. There is a connection.
Right.
So you love the liquids. So
I love the liquids.
I don't know if you've shared this or not, but you should share how you love the liquids on oil of oregano.
Now I don't know if I want to do it.
You got time. You got time. We can go into detail.
Because I wanted to ask you if you saw the video of the door on top of Mount Adams. Have you seen that video we posted yesterday?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, something crazy happened up at ECETI Ranch. And so when you're done here, just go over to our YouTube channel, go over to our Facebook page, and or jimmychurchradio.com. You can go to our website and watch that video that we just posted. It's pretty crazy what happened up there. So we're going to be discussing that on the show tonight. Now, okay, since you want to throw me under the bus, this is what happened. Okay, so oil of oregano. I didn't realize how potent it was. And I love everything that I have here, the moringa, the pine bark, and the
vitamin C,
pine
oranges,
bark,
olive,
olive. So I have all of these, and I take them a dropper at a time. I won't do a drop. I like to do a whole dropper. So I take the oil of oregano out. Had I read online or read the label or did anything, I would have known better. One drop on your tongue will change your life. One drop on the tongue. One drop on the tongue almost caused a divorce between Rita and I on Friday when I dropped it on her tongue. So I take it out, and I'm doing, you're laughing, the audience right now, they have no clue. So I'm doing the pine bark, man, and the moringa, it tastes so good. The vitamin C, full droppers. And I go to the oil of oregano, man, a full dropper, whap, right in the mouth. And it lasted, I would say that my life was normal for about 3 seconds. 3 seconds. And then I realized the mistake that I just made. And I stand up and I run out of the bunker. I run down the hall and I run past Rita's office and she goes, "What's wrong, honey?" I can't even, I went straight in to the bathroom and I'm throwing water on my face. I'm rinsing my mouth out, blah, blah, blah. And it's oil, right? It ain't going anywhere. And I've swallowed it. So now I've got a mass of this burning molten lava in my stomach. And I'm thinking, this is my last minutes on Earth. Honey, you can have everything. Let me sign it over to you, because in a second, this is going to burn through my body. An alien and Sigourney Weaver is going to pop out of my stomach. We had a great run, honey. It was 20 years. I love you so much, but I'm about to depart. It was like that. And so that lasted about 10 minutes. And then after that, it did chill out. It eventually, and 15 minutes later, I couldn't believe what I felt like 10 minutes before that. I mean, I was at the gates of hell, man. There were people there that were greeting me. They're like, ha, 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 ha. So the
Watchers are not going to let you. Not going to let you go.
Ronnie,
not. And you know what? They might have to repair you and say, "What'd you do, Jimmy?"
So
oregano.
I yelled down the hall to Rita. I go, Rita, come on in here, honey. You need to check this out. Just do one drop, and she comes in. She comes into the bunker. And she sticks out her tongue, and I did one drop. And she looked at me. I got the same 3-second delay. And then she bolted. And so anyway, but this is what was really strange. The oil of oregano, I felt it in my eyes. I felt it in my ears. I felt it in my face. I felt this opening. My sinuses opened for like 3 straight days. It was incredible how great I felt, but I will never do it directly on the tongue. I will drop that in some kind of juice, some kind of water and seriously dilute it. 3
or 4 drops in some water, you're good to go. But, straight, you're the man.
Now, so I read online, you can cook with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can cook with this. You can put this right in your sauces.
Yep.
And it's an antiviral, antibacterial, anti-warts, anti-skin, this is just...
It's anti-oil.
It's anti-everything. Absolutely incredible stuff. I had to go read online. It was funny. Do not apply this to your skin directly. I mean, it was like, well, I did everything that they said not to do, but I did it.
Even if you're Jimmy Church.
Ronnie, thank you, man, for everything. And now you've got a special right now.
I got a special. Just go to the front page of getthetea.com, scroll down, and we were talking about that wonderful pomegranate and that good tea. So if you buy 3 tea, okay, you get absolutely free a whole month's supply of the pomegranate, and so you get to try for free. So there's no excuses, and you're good to go.
And you use the promo code
Fader,
Fader, Fader, and you'll even get free shipping on top of that.
Free shipping on top of that. So it's a beautiful deal.
Ronnie, thank you so much, my friend, and have a great rest of your evening. And we'll chat later.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. See, Ronnie's laughing. When I told him the story on Friday about what he was like, you did not. I was like, I did. You didn't. I did. Full dropper on the tongue. If you ever want to get even with anybody, full dropper. Life Change Tea. Ronnie McMullen. Thank you so much, Ronnie. Promo code is Fader. Fader. Go and get yourself some Life Change Tea. The special's right there. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, James Gilliland, and we're going to talk about that opening that happened last weekend on the top of Mount Adams when we were up at ECETI. Stay right there, folks. James Gilliland is next.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply and, of course, the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic, and very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. Email is Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. And yes, this past weekend, not this past weekend, the weekend before, we went up to ECETI Ranch, as everybody knows, and we had an incredible time up there. Something happened while we were there. We released that video last night, and what appears to be an opening at the top of Mount Adams. Now, this has been talked about for a decade or two, about a possible hangar door located somewhere on the mountain. There has been much talk about this over the years, and I've always wanted to see it. I've asked James about this many times on the air and privately, and he's got some incredible footage of objects just flying off of the mountain where it appears, and going into the mountain where it's going into some kind of entrance. Well, we found an opening at the top of the mountain, which apparently appeared last Friday. It wasn't there Thursday when we arrived at ECETI Ranch. There's only one person to discuss this, and that is James Gilliland. Yes, he is the head cook, the chief bottle washer, the purveyor, and the proprietor of ECETI Ranch. And I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, James Gilliland. James, welcome back to the program. And before we get started, I just have to say thank you for being an amazing host last weekend. We had an amazing time up there. Ashley, Lori, Allison, everybody up there is just the absolute very best. And John running the AV system, your crew up there, the cooking, just everything was just absolutely amazing, and we had a great time, and I want to thank you for that right now. Thank you so much, James. Welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for coming to the show. And it was a pretty amazing weekend. A lot of things flying through the sky, a lot of things powering up and going in and out of the mountain. And that's what I built this place for anyway, for people to come and have their own experience and, experience the energy, the ships, the multi-dimensional nature of this area. And looks like you got, your cup was full when you left.
James, now that we have experienced ECETI firsthand, and we'll talk about all of that this evening, but I want to back up. I want you to tell me once again the story about how you found ECETI. It is a magical place. How did you find it?
Well, I was teaching classes in Santa Cruz, California, and I was teaching self-mastery classes and all kinds of working with all kinds of process-oriented therapies and things of that nature. And I kept having visions over and over again. And in the visions, I would see this huge mountain like Mount Adams, and then I would see a beautiful river, on the eastern border. And then the little mountain behind us, I would see that too. And then I would I kept seeing the words Little Mountain, and it made no sense to me at the time. Why were they saying Little Mountain? I mean, this Mount Adams is huge. It's right in our front yard here. And so I didn't understand until I got here. And I used forms of divination on a map of the United States to find out where it was. Now, the odd thing was I threw the map away. I forgot about it, threw it in my garage, and I ended up here anyway.
What year was this, James?
That was in 86.
86, so 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting here for me is that you have been looking at that mountain now because it is seriously in your grill, right? Even though it's 13 miles away, it just dominates every view that you have there at ECETI. So you're looking at this mountain for 30 years with binoculars and cameras and video equipment and telephoto lens, everything, night vision, right? And documenting everything there. I spent just 5 days there, and I feel like I know every pine tree on that mountain. I looked at it so much, but you've been doing it for 30 years. And then this opening appeared on Friday. And I want the audience to know, James didn't know about what was going on. He walks up, he kind of sees the panic going on and comes up to me and I'm like, James, there's an opening. And I'm standing there with binoculars. I think there's a video of this, of you and I talking about this for the first time. And I hand you the binoculars and you said where, and I pointed and you went and looked. So James, at that moment, share with the audience what was going through your mind when you first saw this opening.
The first thing I looked at it, your logical mind wants to reason it away and just say, oh, that's just, some weird anomaly up there, it's a landslide or something else. And I started looking at it, I go, that thing's squared off, it's looks like a square hole, in the top of the mountain up there. And it's actually gotten larger since we've talked. And I know Lorcan O'Toole, he's going to be sending you a picture. I don't know if you got it yet, but now there's 2 caves up there.
Yeah,
and two openings. And I'm just going, what? Okay, it's weird enough for one to appear out of nowhere and be totally squared off. It looks man-made or whoever made it. It could be an alien, I don't know. But now there's another hole next to it. Now the odds of 2 holes appearing up there are pretty rare. And not just that, but I mean, there's these huge doors that open up in the middle of the mountain and off to the right side of the mountain. And we have footage of ships coming out of them. One massive light beam walking right out of the door and walking towards us. We were filming it in infrared. There's so many things going up there. The mountain has such a long history UFOs going in and out of the mountain. And the Native Americans up there on the Yakima Reservation, they say that in the ancient days, they used to take their sick or wounded up there, and they would take them inside the mountain, and they would bring them out, in just a day or two, and they'd have like broken legs and things like that, and they'd be totally mended. And they said there's a crystal city and a very advanced race living on the interior of Mount Adams, much similar to Shasta, very similar. But
right.
they had to lock things down because they said, the surface dwellers are getting a little crazy with their technology, and they said it's too dangerous for us to, keep things open here. So they kind of locked things down.
Now, I want to clarify a couple of things. You just said the Yakima Indian Reservation.
Yes.
How easy is it for somebody to drive up to Mount Adams and just hike? Can you do that, or is the reservation closing any kind of access off?
Well, there is Cold Springs. There's a campground. It's still in the tree line. Called Cold Springs, and you can go up there and park and then start hiking, but you're way over on the right side of the mountain, and they usually hike along the eastern side of the mountain, across the top up there, and you can see the trails and the footpaths and everything if you have a good telescope or a good pair of binoculars. But they don't hike right square in the middle. It's treacherous there. There's just massive boulders and lava rocks, and it's really hard to even get around up there on foot. You have to stop and do switchbacks and find another route, and you get cut off by crevasses, and it's the terrain up there is so rough because you've got glaciers and just solid lava cliffs and things like that, and there's no roads up there. There's absolutely no roads whatsoever, and it's also wilderness area. You can't have a vehicle up there. So you take all that into account. Everybody goes, oh, those are campers, with headlights up there. And I said, well, the guy's head must be about 40 feet wide, to actually be a camper with a headlight, because it's 13 miles away. I guess Gary went and did I guess he Google mapped it or something, says it's actually 14 miles away, but give or take a mile.
Yeah.
But you can't see a light. We took a 9 million candle power light up there. We could see the ranch. We waited till dark and shined it back. You couldn't even see it. I think we might have saw a little flicker maybe at the most, and we weren't even sure if that was it. But, we've done experiments up there. But the lights that are showing up on the mountain are massive. I mean, they're huge, and the candle power is just off the scale, and there's no way. First of all, there's no way you could get a vehicle up there. It's impossible unless it's anti-gravity. Then you could get it up there.
Right.
But the candle power coming from these objects up there is so intense. Even if you got a vehicle up there, I don't even think you could do that. You'd have to have a giant bank of halogen lights. With a flip up, grid or something like that up there to even get close, to what's going on up there. And they're mobile; they move all over the mountain, so that eliminates that.
Right, and I've looked on Google Maps trying to see if there's any real roads, and especially on the west side or the center part of the mountain, there is, from what I can see, absolutely no access. There isn't any roads there.
No,
there's nothing.
And a lot of times, if things are down by the tree line, lower in the tree line, and we see, a red light or yellowish lights or something like that, we, just to err on the side of caution, we'll just say, well, that could be a vehicle up there. It could be a ranger or something. But they're not even supposed to be up there at all either, because it is a wilderness area. But, people are going, oh, that's a car. And so the other objects are so outrageous there, you don't even have to worry about the lower ones. But the weekend you were there, people stayed up late and they said, those objects we thought were cars, and they said yes, and they said, well, they just went right up the mountain, and it's impossible. There's no way any kind of a car or a vehicle could take off and just scoot right up the mountain like that.
What I was fascinated with is, and I want to move on really quick. I have some more questions for you, but what I was fascinated with was looking at the lights on the mountain at night and knowing the terrain, right? And then the next day you look at the mountain and you know where you were just seeing these lights, right? The night before.
Oh, yeah.
And you're looking at a sheer ice cliff, right? Or you're looking at, I mean, just a crazy remote area where there's just no way that somebody was there. And if it was a mountain climber with ropes and he's got crampons and he's somehow got a tent in this glacier field, right? Whatever he's got, a little battery powered lantern in a pup tent that is, bolted to the side of this ice glacier, you're not going to be able to see that with the naked eye from 13 miles away. Not what we were seeing, which were these bright, huge, massive flare-like situations. I don't even think a flare would be that bright, and I can't explain it away. And I need everybody to understand what I'm trying to say here. Unless you've gone up to ECETI and looked at the mountain and understand exactly what we are trying to say here for everybody to understand, you're not going to get it. So it's a circular argument. You cannot say, well, it's this, it's that. No, dude, you were not there. That's it, man.
Yeah, there's armchair investigators. We get that all the time. And, I had one guy said, because at the time here I didn't even have a barn or anything, and the guy calls up, and it actually was on Coast to Coast. He calls up and he goes, well, what I want to know is do you have a barn? Because what I'm seeing is that you have a drone or something like that, and this is before drones or even anybody who's really flying drones. And he said that you have some kind of a model or a drone, you're launching it from your barn, you're flying it around and impressing everybody, and then landing it back in your barn again. These are the kind of things we come up against. And I go, well, just to clarify that, we don't have a barn, And he just assumed since we had a ranch that there was a barn here, So
right.
It's amazing how they try to do things like that. And I know that other woman went on and said that the ranch was blown up and the conference room was blown up and people were jumping out of ships with full camel gear on, and everybody was killed. And they come on and they tell these stories, and I go, well, where was I when this happened, and where were all the other guests?
You were busy burying the bodies, James.
Yeah. So 200 people at that event. That was when Randy Kramer was here too, and supposedly it was his people that did it. But when you have 200 people here, you would think somebody might kind of have some relatives that would come and check it out or call the authorities, or something. But
right.
Obviously none of that happened. It was so ridiculous. And then a big vortex opened in the field and sucked everybody in and destroyed all the evidence. But
I missed that weekend. I missed that weekend.
Yeah, exactly. There's the only thing I know is there's a lot of like-minded people having an experience here. There's no gurus, there's nothing to join, there's no memberships, just people coming up that are like-minded, that want to explore, higher consciousness, other technologies and things of that nature.
Now, with your best guesstimate, okay, a couple of straightforward questions. You've been looking at this mountain for 30 years. Have you ever seen this entrance before Friday when it was discovered?
No, I haven't. And
how could you miss it?
I was shocked when you handed me that high-powered set of binoculars. And I have binoculars here, and I look up there all the time. When I looked up there, I go, what is that? And then after I saw it in the binoculars, you could see it with the naked eye.
Right. You couldn't take your eye off of it after that. I couldn't.
Exactly. And it's so big. You can't miss it. I definitely would have seen it. Somebody would have seen it here. We have literally hundreds of people coming up here, in a week sometimes. And sometimes, thousands of people have come to the ranch, and you'd think somebody would have seen that and said, hey, what's that big square hole up there?
Because it's
on the
huge.
left side of the mountain,
Now, what's your best guess at the size of this? If the mountain is from ground level from here is 9,000 feet, so that's almost 2 miles high, right? from here. It's 12,300 feet from sea level, but we're not at sea level here. We're above that. But so let's say that this is 9,000 feet. So let's call it 2 miles high. If that is what I'm looking at here is 2 miles, and I can clearly see this opening from 13 miles away. This thing is not small; it's big. Yeah. What's your guesstimate on the width?
I'd say minimum 200 feet, probably.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. 200 to 300 feet.
Yeah, probably somewhere around 200 feet.
And so it's not tiny. This is not somebody's imagination or a play on the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking out my window at it right now, and I have a set of binoculars here, and it's not only has it grown, the major hole has actually gotten bigger. It also another opening, looks like a round opening, has showed up on the west side of it.
Yeah, on the west side.
Yeah, on the left side.
And that I'm going to have to go back and look at. Well, I can do that right now. Let me pull this down. I am going to, and I'll post this. It's not a big deal, but let me look at Jason Quitt's image here. And let's see. Man, I can't tell. There's another spot there. It looks like it's there. It's not as definitive in this new shot, but I see what you're saying. It looks like there is something else there too as well.
Lorcan's doesn't have as big a zoom on his camera as Jason did, but we through the binoculars you can see it very clearly. And I tried to shoot my iPhone through the binoculars, and it just wasn't working. It wouldn't come into focus.
Yeah, I was trying the same thing. That's funny.
Yeah. But if we get some gear up here, one of these days we'll get a really good telescope with a way to take pictures or something.
Well, that'll be the next move. Rita and I want to try to get back up there next month, and if we can pull that off August or maybe early September, I'm bringing the heavy gear. There's no question. Now, next is the this opening now. Since its discovery last Thursday, it hasn't gone away. That's the good news. But have you guys seen anything strange in that area of the mountain? Any lights up in that area?
Other guests have seen it. I saw a big flash up there, but other guests saw a whole bunch of like sparkles up there and small flashes all around the entrance. So something's going on up there. It's I can't explain it, but they were looking at it too, and they were coming up with all kinds of ideas, and it could be anything, but I know it's definitely not a camper, and it's not hikers up there, because they're multicolored. They're all different colors, and they're flashing all over the place up there.
Now, what about, are there helicopter tours and stuff of Mount Adams? I mean, there's nobody that lives up there, man. There's but I don't know. Is there anything like that we could rent?
I don't. What I found out when Robbie Williams was here, he was looking into that, and he had his pilot fly him around the mountain, and it's kind of a tricky situation because you're flying over airspace that is Native American airspace, and I don't know if you have to get permission. And if you go up to the rangers and say, "Hey, is there any way we could fly up there and check this out?" They'll say no automatically. They'll say there's no vehicles or any kind of machines allowed up there at all, anywhere near that place. And so, they say no, but I know people have done it, and probably illegally. They probably flew up there illegally in helicopters. I've seen. I was up at Goose Lake, one of the lakes there, and somebody flew a helicopter in and came right over the lake. But that's far to the left side of the mountain.
Right.
But on the mountain itself, I'm not a pilot, but when I've talked to pilots, I did fly around that mountain in a smaller plane, and we did get buffeted around quite a bit. And that's how I got footage of the other cave, with the Buddha statue and the carved faces all around it. That's the other cave on the east side that has the ships coming in and out of it that we've actually filmed. Peter Slattery with ECETI Australia was here. And he got some amazing footage of ships coming in and out of that cave.
Jason Quitt has got, and we'll release those photographs when Jason is ready, but he got some pictures of that little, and look, he found it accidentally. He comes up to me and goes, Jimmy, what do you see here? And I looked and I said, well, I see a little Buddha, dude, and I see some other faces on the wall. And then he unmasks it and shows me what it is. And it's right there. It's on the east side to the right of the cave. And it almost looks like they are looking at the cave, which is kind of weird. But Jason found it by accident. He wasn't told. I didn't know. I just saw a really obvious carved Buddha. Why would Buddha be carved in North America? I don't know. High up on Mount Adams, I don't know. But that looks man-made. That doesn't look natural.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that they're finding all these ancient artifacts here that shows the Hindu artifacts, Egyptian artifacts, all together in caves and things like that, and they've been trying to keep it quiet, but it shows that America here, there's all kinds of explorers that came here, from different places, obviously probably from India and probably from Egypt or whatever, and they had caves with all these little carved Buddhas and Ankhs and things like that in them, and they found some of those, near the Grand Canyon, and they quieted that up really fast. But I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't things up there similar of that nature. And I know some people high up in the military, and they said they've done some operations up there, and they didn't turn out too well. They tried a forced entry, and they tried to shoot down some of the ships. They brought some pulse lasers and some other equipment to try to shoot down the ships, and it didn't work out too well for them.
Is there anything, we've got 1 minute before the break, is there anything that would surprise you about Mount Adams or ECETI at this point?
Boy, that's a tough one. Having had a near-death experience and, hanging out with the source itself, that's really hard to top. Everything else is just kind of interesting.
It's that amazing of a place. Because when I'm having a heart attack. We found this entrance and we're running around, and everybody there was like a beehive of activity. And you come up and you were happy and you were a little surprised, but you didn't lose your mind. You didn't. I mean, there's nothing that will surprise. It will have to be something really big to shock you, and it didn't. I just found that very impressive, James. Is that crazy?
Yeah, I've seen 17-foot tall line beings and things like that.
Right? So. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, where do you go from there?
Our guest tonight, the one and only James Gilliland of ECETI Ranch. Just stay right there. We're going to go a little bit deeper right after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing, the real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product. What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hard shell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tappy.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gilliland Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Come hang out with us on Twitter. That's what you want to do. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Join the conversation. We also have a couple of chat rooms over at KGRA, The Planet, and, of course, Spreaker. If 140 characters limits your creativity, just come and hang out with us. Now, James, we posted this video late last night. We've been averaging about 2,000 views an hour. Okay, that's pretty cool. But overwhelmingly on social media and on YouTube, one comment after another is front and center, which is fly a drone up there, right? Everybody is drone-ified these days. Fly a drone up, fly a drone up. Can that be done?
It can be done, but you'd have to have somebody that probably has a really powerful drone, because I think most of them can only go 4 miles. So you'd have to hike up there and carry it up there to get it close enough, and then fly a drone. And actually, Lorcan has a drone, and we were thinking about how could we get up there. We don't have time now because he's going off to another destiny, but. If somebody had a really high-powered drone, probably a really expensive one, you might be able to do it. You might be able to get it up there.
You would have to hike to the base of the mountain, though. That
Exactly.
makes sense. I didn't even think about that, because it's 2 miles just up. You've got to go up 2 miles. And you would immediately probably be out of range, but it would have to be something that could go 10,000 feet high.
Yeah.
Oof-ah. Okay, yes, that's a monster drone. That's not like a DJI Phantom or Mavic.
No. And the winds are treacherous up there too, so it'd have to really be able to hold its own, in the wind.
Right. Yeah, one of those massive drones. Okay, but you would also have to get to the foothill of the mountain itself. I mean, you would have to get right up on the mountain to make that happen. Okay, these are things that we all need to explore. I mean, the world today is all about drones. And I, for everybody to just go to that naturally, I see that and I understand. It's like today, the drone is the answer to everything. Man, just get a drone up there. Yeah. But, and the other thing that is deceiving for everybody is that this mountain, as big as it is, and it looks like it's right there, it's 13 miles away. And what is in between us and that is nothing but wilderness area. There is no road. You just don't just drive up. You don't walk up. You don't do, you don't hike up to this mountain. It doesn't work that way. And then the other side of it is, and I want this to be very clear to everybody, you would have to hike through miles of wilderness territory just to get up to the mountain because you can't drive to it. That in itself would take a couple of days, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It would not a couple of days. You could hike up and get pretty close. A good day hike, and get up there pretty close. They have a group here called In Situ, and they're one of the biggest drone makers, on the planet, basically next to Boeing. And I know some people that work there, and I'm gonna see if I can go in there and pull some strings and show them what's going on and see if they'll fly something up there, because they have the drones that can do it. They have fixed wing, drones and things like that they can probably. Again, it's altitude. I don't know. But I don't know what their limits are, but I could find out. I could find out about that.
Yeah, because if you took them these images, and and all we want to do is just see if it's a cave, if it's an opening, if it's a play on shadows. If it's, natural, I mean, it's just a reason to do it. You're not just doing it for fun. Yeah. And I could see that. Let's pursue that. I mean, if there's anything that you need me to do on our end, because this is just too important. Even if, James, let's flip this over. Let's say it's not alien, right? Okay? Mm-hmm. Let's say it's not that. Let's just say it's a natural cave that is up on the tippy top of the mountain. That in itself is a crazy cool discovery. I mean, they could call that Gilliland Peak after this.
Well, there's probably a couple dwarves up there with shovels and picks, but who knows? But it's, to me, it's actually gotten bigger for some reason. There's some kind of like an excavation going on, whether it's just rocks falling off or whatever, but I don't know how they'd fall off and be so square, and it looks man-made, but I mean, anything's possible. But what I do know is that in the center of the mountain, there's a huge lava face there, and that's the door that opens up. If you go up there, you won't see anything. All you'll see is a giant lava face, but the lava is swirled in a way that some kind of a force has been working on this lava. And I don't know if it's a hologram or a solid hologram, or they do, but from my understanding is they use some kind of a G-force and they start spinning it. It opens up, and then everything dematerializes. They fly out, and then it rematerializes behind it. If they need to open the door, a lot of the ships don't need to open the door. They just dematerialize and fly right in and rematerialize. So I guess it depends on your level of technology as to how you go in and out of the mountain.
You just gave me a thought, and I will discuss this with you off the air, but I think I know who I want to talk to about this and show this evidence to. But the drone idea, I think, is great, but the more that I look at this mountain, if you got into the snow right at the tree line and somehow managed to get there and then get the drone from there to the top of the mountain, I just see that as being really difficult. I see it as losing your drone is what I
yeah, exactly. Now, also too, that there's weird anomalous fields up there of energy, magnetic fields, which might play havoc on your control system or guidance system. And, if the other beings don't want you up there too, they'll just take it down.
Now, we had an incredible night we had 4 pretty good nights of viewing, but one night, and I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday, it's all clouding together now, I think it was Friday night, where things just absolutely lit up in the sky. I mean, we were seeing you remember the 30 power-ups in a row, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, which is crazy. We had the flasher there all night over our shoulders. We had the that one incredible flyby, that low altitude power up that just lit up everything around us. And then that one incredible power up, I called it the dragster, which was off to the west. It looked like a planet, and it was stationary. It lit up and then just took off directly north, and that was crazy to see. Have you had those types of nights there? I was warned about it, James, but has it continued since we left?
Actually, it's not as much. They come here when the people are here. And so if we have a large group here and the people are conscious and they're putting their intention out, they pick it up and they come, and it's like it's different than running around and trying to see a UFO. We actually invite them, and we've risen in consciousness to the level where we can communicate with them, and that's been proven redundantly. We've given over and over the exact dates and times the ships will appear, and the cameras are rolling and they appear. Right? I did that with Paranormal State, and I did it with Robbie Williams, and I did it with, oh God, I'm trying to think of his name, Green. All these guys come up here. Even Jay Leno sent some people up here, and they got some amazing footage, but he canned it. He didn't air it. But there's just been all kinds of people up here, and on camera, we told them exactly when and where, and with Paranormal State, they had their psychic Chip Coffee, and they brought him on the property. They do this all the time. They don't tell him anything. They just drive him up, and then they ask him to give a reading on what's going on, and he's going, I'm feeling them, and they go, who are them? And he goes, E.T. And he said 10 o'clock in the east. Well, I've already told him at 10 o'clock, have your cameras facing east, a little bit to the north, and there'll be a big power up there. And sure enough, right at 10 o'clock, a big ship came in and powered up, and they got it on film. So, when you do this over and over redundantly, it pretty much establishes the fact that there is contact going on. What I find it amazing is we've been doing this for 30 years, and people are still asking the question, when are we going to have contact? And,
right.
Yeah, and I said, we've always had contact. They're contacting the enlightened ones, and they're not going. There's no purposeful good in showing themselves or communicating with other people, because they'll just, they'll make a religion out of it, or abuse the teachings or the information, or they'll become fearful and try to shoot them, or they'll worship them. They don't want any of that.
This is what I find completely bizarre, James, is we had that low-level flyby that went over, right? And it lit up, and like that one that was off to the west that looked like a planet just lit up and took off. Yeah. There is no reason why that low level, that kind of flashing, that kind of hello signal should not happen over Los Angeles, right? Why can't I go out in my backyard and look up and see something fly over, and it doesn't happen? I can't. It's bizarre to me that I can go up to ECETI with 100 people, 150 people out there, and this stuff it's like Steven Spielberg and Close Encounters. It's just stuff. It's just going on, but it doesn't happen over Los Angeles. And I want everybody to understand, this is not night vision. We are out there with our naked eyes watching this stuff go on, but it doesn't go on over Los Angeles. What is it? Is it ECETI? I mean, why is that?
Well, it's all about me. No, I'm just kidding. It's been going on for a long time. There's so many people who want to say it's all about me, and I'm a contactee, and I'm some people are saying I'm the only true prophet of God and the only contact. You hear all that nonsense basically, but this is a vortex here, and the energy, the veils between worlds are very thin. There's also a long history of UFO activity that's been going on here. With even Dr. Jan Hynek did studies up here, and David Akers and Greg Long, and a lot of the old timers were all up here doing studies. And so there's a long history, going back to the Native Americans and researchers and everything of UFO activity here. Even Kenneth Arnold, who coined the word flying saucers, saw them when they landed on the western slopes of Mount Adams. That's when he lost sight of them. And that's our front yard. I mean, that's exactly what we're looking at. So they went around the corner, and then he lost sight of them. But there's such a long history here. This has been going on for a long time. But, I know the near-death experiences and 30 years of study with lamas and yogis and other masters, and, the constant process-oriented therapies and the other things are definitely, opening the doors for these things to happen.
The other things that happen up there, I got to ECETI with an open mind because I just love to discover. Okay, but what ended up occurring, not only with me but our friends and all the guests up there, was just one personal event and emotional revolution after another. It was just happening all over the place. When did you start to see these things happening there, where you started to find out that it was ECETI, and that if you show up at ECETI and you want to find out things, you will find those things out. This is something, it is going to happen. And I was warned, and I kind of laughed about it. But then things started. It was like a dominoes falling in front of me. and see, you laugh right now. See, James, you laugh. And I think most of the audience they just don't get what I'm trying to say. You're laughing because you see it every single day up there. What the heck is going on?
People have their realities pretty much shattered a little bit when they come up here, because, I've had people come up with some big old, pretty big pig guys come up here and have had fairies appear to them. And, they go, I don't believe in fairies. This is not my reality. And things like that. We've had Babaji, people photograph Kuan Yin. There's so many different things happen here that just shake people's paradigm up. And it's not just about, UFOs and seeing a ship. These are ultra-dimensional beings. They're all throughout our history. The gods had their ships, the Hindu gods. The Vedic scriptures talk about physical ships, ships that are pure energy, ships that are magnetized light, and also Merkabahs, and things like that. So this has always been a part of our history if we really do the research. And we'll find out, the more we do a research, that, there's been so much genetic tinkering going on here, not just with human genetics, but plant and animal genetics that were brought here. There was 12 major star nations involved in terraforming the Earth. And that's all going to come out. It's starting to come out now, but it's going to come out in a big scale. And we're going to have to rethink everything, our origins, our history, our archaeology, our religions, everything. We're going to have to rethink them. And it doesn't mean that there isn't a God. It's just God is much bigger than we imagined. And it's a multidimensional being, and we're not the only life, in this, we're this little blue planet in the outermost corner of the Milky Way. We're out in the boondocks, and there's so many other planets out there with life on them, and some of them are thousands, millions, even billions of years ahead of us in evolution. And you can just imagine, what their technology looks like and their spiritual evolution, what happened there, because some of them aren't even physical. They have energy bodies or light bodies. So it all ties into quantum physics when you really understand it, and the unified field and the higher teachings. Once you understand these, it all fits perfectly into that.
Well, once you look at the science of it, and you're talking to somebody that may be fairly pragmatic and they can understand the science of it, and we're talking about ships that you can see, and the lights around the mountain are flying overhead. These are all physical things, and that's fine. But then there is a leap that you take from UFOs and quantum physics to fairies, right? Now you are asking people really to take a step outside of the box. James, are fairies real?
Well, take a trip to Ireland, or any of these other places that have a long history of that. They definitely are real. They're in the next dimension. They're just outside of our dimension, and they can pop in and out, especially when you have a place like this where the veils are between worlds are very thin. And we actually have beautiful photographs. I have a photograph of one flying in the air with a wand.
I know.
One flying through the air with a crystal in her hand, wearing a blue gown. It's just like, I know people are going, this guy's nuts. What he's smoking up there. I don't do any drugs. I'm very grounded. These are all personal experiences backed up by photographs and multiple witnesses.
The photograph that Karen has of her fairy, I looked at it, and look, she's okay. So she goes, okay, Jimmy, so this blue orb shows up and it flies up behind the tree. I get out my camera and I photograph this fairy. And I'm like, okay, right. She goes, no, the picture's right. And she shows, and James, it's a fairy in a blue orb with wings and a head and legs and like out of Walt Disney, right? And it's a photograph. And I'm sitting here as an adult male, right? My masculine self looking at a picture of a fairy saying, wow, that's a pretty incredible picture of a fairy. And the experiences that you have up at ECETI, you've got to let certain things get checked at the door, because if you want to go in with a negative attitude, you're going to get woken up really, really quick, and your paradigm's going to shift on you, and you might not come back. And I really mean that. It's pretty incredible. And here I am talking about fairies. You had said, you said to me, I was on your radio show, and you go, Jimmy, tell us about your UFO experiences. And I said, UFO schmoofo. Let's talk about fairies, right? I'm just like, I don't care, James. I really don't care. It's a pretty incredible place. Now, you did something else, and I want to share this experience with everybody. On Thursday night, you took me out to the medicine wheel. It was you, myself, and Mark Walsh. It was the three of us by ourselves. And you took us out to the Orion portion of the medicine wheel, and you asked for a few minutes of silence, and you asked Mark and I to close our eyes, and you said a few words, and at the end of that, you were like, okay, what did you see? What did you feel? And I cracked a couple of jokes about it, whatever. It was the meatloaf, and I cracked those jokes because I was deflecting, right? I was deflecting. I didn't want to admit about that magical moment that happened there with three men standing in a circle out in the middle of this field. Yeah. And I got were you expecting that? Were you expecting you've seen this over and over again, right? And you saw my reaction, and you saw my guard that I had put up. Does this happen every single time?
Mostly. It mostly happens. The energy is so strong there, but I can read people. I could tell you have a strong connection with the Orion Counts of Light. And, the people that are light workers down here that are here to make a change have connections, and they have other lives and other advanced civilizations. And, there's an old saying that the source is giving its best right now to turn this planet around. And so a lot of us have incarnated from these other dimensions, these other planes to play a part in the awakening and healing process. And, this radio show is definitely a part of that. And I know as soon as you stepped into that energy field that you'd make a reconnection, with your family, your star family.
It's pretty incredible. And when is the medicine wheel, and we're going to probably put up some pictures here really quick in Twitter, is the medicine wheel placed there for a reason? How did you find that spot?
Well, when I meditate here, I ask the land, I ask the nature spirits and the masters and everything, and nothing gets done here without getting the okay on the conference building. Everything has been checked and double checked before we do anything, and they gave us exactly where. They told me, I used divining rods, and they said go out here, and they told me where it was, and so I grabbed some divining rods and walked out there, and I found the exact center of it and put a stake in the ground. And then we had one by the name of Tashina. She's a beautiful Apache elder that also lives on the reservation, the Hopi Reservation, and she helped set that up. Helped set up the galactic. It's a galactic medicine wheel. It goes far beyond most medicine wheels, but having a tradition, like my grandmother was Cherokee, so I have a strong connection in there. And then the Irish in me too, the Scotch Irish. That's probably where the fairy stuff comes from. Who knows? But I'm a very grounded person, and actually my mom was from Missouri, the Show Me State, and I have an open mind, but I need to see it. I need to be able to document it, or I won't talk about it. And so if I don't have the evidence or multiple witnesses and things, I won't talk about it. And we've had Triple PH Boeing engineers, Skunk Works operators, Air Force base commanders, and they all testified on Coast to Coast when I went on Coast to Coast with Art Bell. And it was very synchronistic how that happened. I was on the air, and all these people are screaming outside, and Art heard it. He heard them screaming. He goes, "What's going on?" And I said, "Well, a massive ship just flew over the ranch." And he said, "Can you bring anybody on, that can talk about it, some witnesses?" And so we went out and grabbed these guys just spur of the moment. And they actually went on the air and testified. And afterwards they said, "Oh, my God, we're going to get in trouble big time. We shouldn't have talked about that." They were here investigating the ranch. So they've all been out here. NASA's been out here. Everybody, they know it's real. So it's, a lot of them can't talk about it because they'll lose their jobs.
And there's also, we've got about 60 seconds here, James. You have some pretty incredible footage of Black Hawk helicopters and Chinooks and things, not only buzzing around the mountain, which is pretty incredible footage. I've seen it, but also over the house and over ECETI itself. Are there any Air Force bases around there? Is this something normal for them to do? I don't think it's so remote of an area for them to be buzzing the mountain and buzzing your property there. They're doing it for a reason. Are they trying to intimidate you, or what are they doing?
Well, they used to run some major intimidation runs, and they would circle the property and shake the place up pretty good. And they came down about 2 feet off the ground once, right in the Skywatch field. But we just filmed them and put it on YouTube, which they hate. But it never bothered me. I thought it was funny. I just grab my camera and go out and film them. But they were playing some games with psychotronics before, and they did some things. I was actually interviewing Laura Eisenhower. And some helicopter flew right over the house, and they pulsed. They hit a huge magnetic pulse, and I came out of there. I didn't know who I was. I mean, I go, "What just hit us?" And all the equipment went down and everything. And she was talking about, the secret space program and Mars and colonies on Mars and everything. And obviously, they didn't want that getting out. But they've done some pulse weapons and some other games that they play, and luckily I had a grid on top of my roof that was grounded, that absorbed most of the energy, and it grounded it.
Well, like a Faraday cage.
Yeah. I mean, I get inspirations, you might say, that this might be happening. You might want to gear up for it, and so I listen to those inner promptings.
Let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland, ECETI Ranch. We're talking about that big door, that cave, that opening that just appeared on Mount Adams. More with James right after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? If you're forgetful, nervous, moody, or overwhelmed, chances are you're not protecting yourself from the ravaging effects of stress and anxiety. No matter the cause, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, your quality of life, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in as little as 1 to 2 weeks and increase your ability to recall facts, names, and numbers in 4 to 12 weeks. Calm and Clever was created by scientist Kurt Hendricks, a principal investigator in 2 NIH-funded studies on Alzheimer's disease. Try Calm and Clever for 2 months. You'll feel the difference. Call 1-800-758-8746 or go to calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRAradio.com.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Simple, at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox on Twitter. Tweet that. Come and hang out with all of us. Join the conversation. Of course, we have the chat rooms too as well. This portion of the show is brought to you by River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. That's right. It's dark. It's complex. It's smoky. It is. It's the best coffee in the world. Just go right now to the River Moon Coffee banner on our site. Use the promo code F2B Blend, and you will get 15% off of your order. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland. We just got back from his ECETI ranch, had an incredible, enlightening, amazing 5 days up on the ranch, and it was difficult to get back to L.A. James, we wanted to get right back on the plane and go back. That was the plan. Now, next weekend up at ECETI, you're going to have the Young Masters weekend next weekend. What's going on up there? What is that?
Well, it's an opportunity for young masters to really have a voice and share, and understand the their own higher dimensional selves, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to be kind of jumping in and out of it, but a lot of it's mothers and fathers and things like that are coming up that want their kids to have an experience and be part of it. I tell you what I've seen. We used to do a lot of sweat lodges here, and when you give the kids the talking stick and everybody's equal and everybody's even, they actually end up embarrassing their parents, and their parents find out that they forgot, they forgot who they are and they forgot what's important, and the kids end up teaching the parents.
We had, there were a couple of youngsters up there with us last weekend, and what a great experience to see them not only enjoying the weekend, but going out to do the sky watch, and they were seeing things before you. They were telling you where to look. That was pretty cool. And I remember I go, it's the young eyes, right? They can still see, but that was a lot of fun. And to see that happening, I would have done anything as a parent to have my children up there to experience ECETI, because it's just a magical place, but it's an opportunity to see a world outside of the city, outside of the suburbs, to be out there so connected not only with nature but with Mother Earth, and then our ET friends up there too as well. Can you imagine doing that at the age of 8? Wow.
Oh yeah. And these ambassador training and the self-mastery classes up here, when people understand who they are and their connection to these beings, they lose the fear. And you probably saw that in my presentation when I was showing the by the way, the DVDs are all done from the masters that were up here speaking, all the other wonderful speakers, including you. Those are all finished right now. But in my presentation, I was showing treetop level stuff, even half treetop level ships flying around and powering up and doing amazing things, and it's just ongoing. It never stopped. And what's the neat thing about this is that it never stopped. It's not somebody saying, hey, I got abducted in 1952 or whatever, or they have a story and they have an old story and they keep telling the same story over and over again, or they got their necks cranked in the past back at Roswell and things like that.
Right.
This is happening now. It's not something that happened. It's still happening, and people can come up and have their own experience.
And then the weekend after that, it's the James Gilliland big birthday celebration and bash. Yeah. Is that black tie?
It's probably shorts and a T-shirt, more than likely.
And how old are you? Is it 29? You're going to be 29?
Yeah, definitely 29 again.
Yeah, and so that, and again, everything is all the information on this is over at ECETIevents.com, and we've got the links up. But if you're in the area and you want to go hang out and check out ECETI, not only if you have children and you would like to do the Young Masters weekend, which is next weekend, but the James Gilliland birthday bash and celebration, that sounds like a whole lot of fun right there for the kids and for the family. And to go up there and hang out. And all the information is over at ECETIevents.com. Now, okay, this is it's a little bit difficult for me to talk about because it was so personal. But I went somewhere, and I don't know how to explain this to everybody. And what happened to me personally is not what's important. What is important is that these kind of things, these epiphanies, this seeing or going to another place is a transformation that is I think important for everybody to go through, but I did, and I didn't expect it. It caught me by surprise. The the experience itself is so powerful and so extraordinary that it not only it's not about going, look, I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about right now. What I'm trying to avoid is the personal experience itself. But it happened, and I can't explain it. But James, when this thing happens, and for me it was about 15 minutes long, and when it happens and you see the difference that I know was evident in me, the before and the after, you see these transformations probably every single day up there at ECETI, certainly every single weekend. And people are coming up to you and talking about this. How does that make you feel? I mean, on a personal level, how does that make you feel when you see this happen week in and week out for years?
You know, I think what brings me the most joy is seeing people heal and, you know, release the past and then connect with more of their multidimensional self. And so whenever that happens up here, you know, I get excited. It's fulfilling a destiny, basically, and I love it. You know, when it happens, I still get excited when the ships come over because the other people are getting excited, and I feel their excitement. You know, so I just love it when they come and just open up to, you know, a much bigger universe and a much bigger self, because, you know, we're not just this body or this personality. We're a spirit that has a body and a personality, and that spirit is multidimensional. And what happened to you more than likely is you experience more of yourself. Is you expanded in awareness. The energy here accelerates that, and all of a sudden you're out of your body and you're experiencing a much bigger you. And you know, it's really interesting because it's hard to explain to people, but everything is happening at once. In the higher dimensions, there is no time. It's all happening at once. And once we start experiencing these energies, we can experience all these different aspects of ourselves and other things going on. And eventually, when you get to a certain level, you realize it's all you. You know, your ego has a meltdown, and
right.
And yeah, and you realize that everything is you. That you know, you become one with the one consciousness that encompasses all consciousness.
Right.
You know, and all planes and dimensions throughout the multiverse. And that's what happened to me. And after that, I mean, that's what I'm saying. After that happened, it's hard. It's a hard experience to top. You know, everything else is just interesting.
The experience for me. Okay, look, when it happened, the multidimensional aspect of things, the release and the ego that happens, you start to nearly immediately realize that there are so many things that are just not important, right? And for me, I mean, just not important, not worth your time. And I've been on this anti-negativity kick for a while. I spoke about it up there at ECETI. Which was which was a strange timing with all the other events that were going on. But just today, there was somebody that I'm literally that wants to pick an argument with me over nothing, and this was happening, and I was just like, wait, you know what, dude, no. No. I'm not going to do this. And you need to have the power within you to cut the negative people out of your life. And the negative, because all it is something that is distracting. It's distracting to what is real and what is fun and what is cool about the world. And that is what came out of me. That was something that reinforced with me what I was feeling already, was that life is too short, man. Life is too short, and I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight. I don't care. I don't care that you care about being negative. I don't care. I really, but Jimmy, don't you know what? Honestly, bro, if that's the way that you feel, I don't care. I feel like it's a way of coming off too harsh or too strong. That now I don't care about other people. You know what? It's not that. It's that I've realized that negativity is just it's a dark force, and I don't care about it. I don't care. And if I show a response, then I'm getting sucked into the negativity. Now that I have discovered this, James, I know that you can see it in your eyes. Are you on that same road? You know, are you there? How does negativity affect you these days?
Well, you know, basically, you know, if I'm confronted with something negative, my whole body just lights up, and I just feel that love come through me. You know, love's the ultimate power in the universe, and it just takes care of business. But you know, I do think we do need to address the negative, but with loving detachment. We can't get caught up in it and have it affect us and take our frequencies down. But we do need to acknowledge, you know, that things are going on here. And, you know, and, you know, even if I talk about this, everybody goes, you're being negative. No, I'm just saying things are happening here. You know, you've got child sacrifices, satanic worship, pedophiles, you know, you got wars going on, you got the chemtrails, you got, you know, all these things are happening. And we need to acknowledge that, okay, yeah, these things are happening. And then we need to do something about it, and you know, like, you know, find out more about it, inform the people, you know, let people make positive decisions, you know, and healthful decisions, you know, on how to combat some of these things. But you know, there's people don't realize it, but I was highly involved in a lot of even the currency exchange, and clearing the energy around that so things can go forward. And, you know, some things I can't talk about, but, you know, it's basically done now. It's finally finished. But, you know, everybody's going to be on a more level playing field, and things are going to shift dramatically very soon. And we're moving into that arena. But, you know, without clearing the energies around this, even the gold had so much negative energy around it and psychometrized into it, and a lot of deaths, a lot of sorcery, a lot of weird stuff going on. But just to free that up, you know, there was a lot of work involved to free that up so it could be used for humanitarian purposes. And so there's a lot of work being done behind the scenes. And, you know, when I do hear things like people saying, you know, oh, they're talking about reptilians, that guy's unenlightened, or you know, he's talking about, you know, the Greys or the serpent beings or some of these other beings. And, you know, I've had face-to-face with these guys. I've had to deal with them. I had to learn how to get on top of it and clear them out of my space. And I've helped quite a few other people that had these things attached to them. But, you know, without, you know, I just think we can't live in denial, but we can't let it take us down either. And we can't let it lower our frequencies, and we need to hold space, hold the highest frequencies within ourselves. But we can look at these things with loving detachment and look at them as far as solutions. Okay, how do we find a solution here? How do we, you know, put an end to some of this stuff? Because it's so far outside of universal law. And I want to talk about something too, is that people say, well, you're talking about polarities, you're polarity thinking.
Right.
There are polarities here. You know, there's positive, negative. There's a big difference between negative and evil. You know, and that's where a lot of the New Age stuff gets lost. There are beings that are evil. They do not have our highest and best good in mind. And we learned some very hard lessons in the Orion system, when the council came and said, no, we're not going to prepare for war, and if we prepare for war, we're going to create war, we'll be a threat. And the seers on Orion saw the reptilians coming. They saw the armadas, and they saw it coming. They tried to warn the council, and the council, you know, felt they were too spiritually evolved to go there. And they end up, you know, almost losing the entire civilization on that one. But you know, we do have to recognize that, you know, there are forces out there that don't have our highest and best good. There are unseen negative influences, and we need to learn how to heal them and move them out of our space. But at the same time, we need to recognize that there is a loving, joyous, powerful, manifesting God or goddess within each and every one of us. And when we access that and have that work through us, then these things can be easily dealt with. But they can't be dealt with denial.
The beings that you're in contact with and that could possibly manifest themselves to others, how do we know if they're being honest? How do we know if somebody that is projecting goodness and knowledge is not being deceptive? How do we separate that?
If you're really grounded in universal law, it's very easy. And when they step outside of that and start, doing flattery and telling you you're the chosen one and things like that, and they start moving in a direction that's outside of universal law, that's a good indicator. And also, too, is that when you develop your inner sensitivity, you'll sense the intention of that person or that entity, and right away you can feel, what their agenda is. And the beings that we work with, they emanate so much love and joy and bliss, and they're very, very concerned. They're in total service mode, and they're very concerned about humanity and the earth and the direction we've been going. And it's all about, it's not just their words, but their deeds. And how do you feel being around them? Do you feel energized? Do you feel drained? Are they assisting you in making your own personal connection with God, Creator, Spirit, whatever you want to call it? Are they creating a separation, between you? So the thing is that when you're worshiping these beings, you're actually leaking, your energy's leaking. And you're like a battery, and we need to pull that energy back and make our own connection to Source and work from there. Because I've seen that, unfortunately, right now there's a whole world religion they're trying to create around these ETs, and it's a projection of an external savior again. And it's not going to happen. We need to save ourselves. We need to step up to the plate, wake up, stand in our own self-authority, and remember who we are. And that's when we're going to turn the planet around.
What about Kuan Yin? Can you describe that appearance?
Well, they call her the goddess of wrathful compassion, and she's pretty intense. You're going to heal your stuff if you're going to be around her for very long. But beautiful energy, immense love coming from her, a real divine feminine, but also you better be ready to heal and awaken and go to the next level if you're going to be in that presence.
Why? You say that you're being very strong right now. Why?
Yeah. Well, it's all about frequency and energy, and sometimes there's a thing called tough love where they will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, or they'll tell you what you need to heal or look at, and that's that kind of energy. It's a very loving energy, but it's also like get with the program, step into who you are, and they don't sugarcoat it.
Well, I love this, James. I want to know about your personal experience because that's where you're coming at me right now, your own personal experience. Tell me about it.
Well, I mean, I've had so many. I've had Babaji appear to me, beautiful being, very balanced energy, and he'd be known as the Yogi Christ. I've seen Yeshua ben Joseph. People call him Jesus. Actually, Jesus came from the Greeks, gave him that name, Jesus, which means son of Zeus, but his real name was Yeshua ben Joseph. It was Yeshua born of Joseph. But, all these beings have...
I feel like you're avoiding Kuan Yin right now. So let's... I want to know, man. I want to know. What was...
Well, let me tell you a story. She's actually appeared here in the field, and there's a monk, a Taoist monk by the name of Khan, and he photographed her in the field. We also have some other people here that have photographed her energy appearing at the field, and it looks exactly like the ancient paintings, identical. And she has come here quite a bit, and she's also extremely involved, believe it or not, with the Chinese elders. And it was because of her that they know now it's time to turn these funds towards humanitarian purposes. We're talking about $250 billion. It's ridiculous. Just the interest on the gold alone that is going to be freed up, for humanitarian purposes. And she's very involved in that. And, she's she's basically opening up a can of spiritual whoop-ass on the planet right now, along with Mary and the other ones. They're coming in strong, and they're saying enough's enough. And, they love the children, and you start messing with the children, they're going to step up to the plate. So you're going to see some big shifts happening really fast.
Everybody wants, I guess they heard the story about my little halo vision during your circle thing. And okay, I guess I'll repeat it again, but I think that's not really what's most important. What's most important here is that it's what James said after it went down. So everybody, this is what happened. I'm going to give you the 30-second version. I closed my eyes, and I don't know, there's probably 100 people in this circle, and I'm on the outside of the circle observing. But I decided to participate, and I leaned my head back, and at that moment, this vision of the sun comes into my vision. I'll share this with everybody. And it was like a painting version of a sun. And then this halo came in with like this cross. I mean, it wasn't I didn't know it was a halo, but it was a burst of light with this cross in the middle of it, kind of like you see in these Renaissance paintings, behind Jesus or whatever. And that's what it looked like, with this cross in this circle, north, south, east, west, this cross. And it comes into view, and I'm confused, and I wanted E.T., right? I wanted the E.T. vision, and so I'm a little bit pissed off that I'm getting this religious thing, and I wanted, I wanted E.T., and then I wanted some Palladian action, right? So anyway, as this thing is right in the middle of my eyeballs, James goes, okay, Mary Magdalene is with us now. And I'm like, holy crap, man, this stuff is real, right? I was like, what? Out of anybody that you could have said, while I've got this halo vision, dancing across my lobes, you dropped the Mary Magdalene bomb. And James, what made you do that to me? Why? It was like personal, that was nuts. That was nuts. Were you messing with me?
No, actually, I kind of have an interdimensional mind, and I'm fully aware of who's coming in, and who's working with people and doing healing work and initiating, even if they are on the 5th, 6th, or 7th dimension. So, I'm fully aware of it, and I just let people know, look, this is available, and this kind of energy is here, and if you want to partake of it, and it's important to realize too that Mary's not religious; she's a universal being. They all are. They're not here to be packaged or boxed into any one truth or teaching. But the same guy, Khan, the Taoist monk, was taking a self-mastery class from me, and he was in the back of the room, and I saw his eyes get really big and reaching into his pocket, and he pulls his camera out and takes a picture. And before I tell you this, I want to preface it because he does 21-day dark retreats in a cave, just water, that's it. And so this guy can see the other dimensions very clearly, and that's how he gets these beautiful pictures, of Kuan Yin and Ezekiel and Mary and things like that. But so he pulls his camera out, he takes a picture, and it's in the conference building. I know you've seen it.
Yes.
But there's this beautiful picture of Mother Mary appearing over the group.
It's crazy. That is I thought that was photoshopped when I first saw it. No, I really did, James. Obviously. We need to take a break right here. We're going to pick up this conversation right where we're leaving off here. But when we come back, Rita took a crazy picture in the medicine wheel. What was it? I'm going to ask James when we come back. Stay with us. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, James Gilliland.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat. Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
Do you or a loved one suffer migraine headaches? Listen to what scientist Kurt Hendricks has to say.
35 million people in the United States suffer with debilitating migraines. If you or a loved one are one of them, you need to know about MiGrelief. Hi, I'm Kurt Hendricks, the scientist that formulated and patented the MiGrelief migraine formula. MiGrelief is a non-prescription dietary supplement recommended by neurologists, pharmacists, and pediatricians to address nutritional deficiencies in both adults and children over 2 with migraines. Try MiGrelief for 3 months and see the powerful difference it can make in your life, or get your money back, no questions asked. Go to MIG911.com or call 800-MIG-7354. You can change your life today.
So if you suffer from migraines, don't wait. Call 800-MIG-7354. That's 800-MIG-7354 or visit MIG911.com.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn
it. This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Yeah, last weekend we were up at ECETI. Everybody knows that. And our host, James Gilliland, is with us tonight. It was an incredible weekend, and it was almost too much for me to handle. I had said to James and Lori and Ashley, it's time to pump the brakes on this truck, man. It's too much. It's way too much. And Ashley's like, no, Jimmy, it's just beginning. Just like, man, you're scaring the crap out of me, man. This portion of the show is brought to you by Life Change Tea. That's right. Ronnie McMullen was just on with us tonight. Just go over to the banners at jimmychurchradio.com. It'll take you to getthetea.com. Just mention Fader, Fader, when you order, either online or over the phone. You're going to get yourself free shipping, and they do have a special on the tea right now over at getthetea.com. One of our great sponsors, one of the great companies on planet Earth. Now, James, The picture that Rita took, and you know the one that I'm talking about, that dimensional shot of Andromeda, was pretty incredible. And the picture was taken after we did the ceremony out there with Lori and Teresa and Allison and the Singing Bowls. And this, so I leave. I'm tripping. I'm doing my thing, man. I'm not here, and I walk away. But Rita stayed behind and was taking pictures in the medicine wheel, and she grabbed this picture, which to me clearly, when I saw it, it was a picture of two different worlds, and it was cut in half. It was our world on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side, it was another dimension. When you saw the picture, what did you think you were looking at?
Well, we have so many photographs like that here, and there's like dimensional shifts happening. We've seen things reverse. It's really weird. We'll be looking at a word, and then half of it is reversed, and just crazy things happen here all the time. Energetically, especially with film, and people. You had that same experience. Just take shots of the sky, and UFOs appear in their film. They never saw it with their eyes, but the cameras pick up more of the electromagnetic light spectrum.
Right.
So there, you're in a major vortex there, and so you're going to have all kinds of anomalies that come with taking pictures.
Is it some kind of? I mean, is it a parallel world? Is it another dimension that she shot? It's a very direct question that I'm asking you because, I mean, that's what I see. But then again, what I see and what is reality are two different things. You have a lot of experience with this. Is that what she captured? Did she get two dimensions at the same time?
Yeah, there's the mini world theory. Even Einstein said, that there's worlds we're not aware of. Michio Kaku talks a lot about that, but basically, what happens is there's actually, that I'm aware of, there's actually at least 8 Earths, and they're all just a little bit out of phase from the others, and so when we do the practices like Qigong and things like that, there's photographs of me disappearing, and you can see right through me, or coming in and out, and other people too. A lot of the students disappear, and you can see the chair right through them. That's really common because you're actually raising your frequencies and you're going out of phase. And it's the funny thing that happens here too is when you're doing your practices. A lot of times I'll be on the Lemurian Hill over here, and I'll be doing my practices, and I come down off the hill, and there's 7 or 8 people. I've had 9 people sitting there before, all talking, and I walk right up to them, and nobody sees me. And then until I say something to them, and I go, "How's it going?" And they all of them just jump out of their shoes, all at the same time. And I didn't even, now from my perspective, I didn't even know I was kind of invisible. I had no idea because everything looked normal to me, because the higher dimensions can see down through the lower dimensions, crystal clearly, but it's hard for us to see up, into their dimension. But that happens here on a regular basis, and again, the land here, the veils are so thin, the energy is so high here that these anomalies happen, to people, pretty much. It's pretty much a constant thing here.
Now, I went through my images, and you probably know what I'm about to ask you. I went through my images of the mountain, just looking at them, looking at the entrance up there, that hole that opened up, and in a sequence of 3 photographs that were 1 second apart, in the middle photograph, I captured what appears to be a disc flying right near the entrance, just left of it, a little bit above it. It looks like it might be a little bit behind it, but it's hard to tell. It's 13 miles away. But clearly, this is a large object. This isn't a bug that flashed into the picture or some kind of bird. We've had it enlarged and analyzed. But I showed you the image. You've seen a lot of stuff up there at ECETI. What did you think when you saw this craft by the door?
Just no doubt. It's definitely a UFO. We've got photographs of giant cylinder ships up there. just every color ship you can imagine: purple, pink, green, blue. So many different things. We've had. Unfortunately, we had these giant pyramid ships that were probably 3 times bigger than a jetliner because they were following a jetliner, and you could see the difference. But unfortunately, I wasn't close enough to a camera to get that. But there's so many things going on up there and overhead that it's just undeniable. One thing I wanted to mention too is that if you can slow your camera down, see, you took 3 shots and you got it right in the middle. If you can slow your film down, you'll see all kinds of things zip around, and they're going so fast that you wouldn't recognize them. And we have a lot of footage. I show that in my presentation. We had to slow the footage way down, and also you see the ship going right through a rainbow or things like that. But ordinarily you wouldn't see it.
Yeah, you have one sequence, one video that I watched during your presentation, and it clearly is zipping back into the clouds.
Yeah,
and it's bizarre to see it because you're trying to. Your mind's eye is saying, "Okay, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. That's what's going on here." Don't. But when you see it go in the opposite direction up into the clouds. Then you have to step back and say, okay, now that's something else altogether here. And we also found, Jason Quitt found a very strange looking object that is, it's in between a sphere and an oval, right? I don't even know what I'm saying now. But his object is really, really cool, up in the clouds to the right to the east of Mount Adams. And then Rita found an object similar in shape in the clouds. Now, she found it in 2 different images that were taken back to back again, a second apart. And the first one, it's up in the clouds, it's round. And the second image, it's closer to ECETI, but I've got another surprising development here with this. The second picture, it looks like landing gear, right? 2 legs have popped out underneath it. It's trippy to look at, but this is what we have. With the iPhone, James, you can do what is called live pictures. Are you familiar with this?
Yes,
So it's a video of the picture. So we are able to now look at these in live in motion. And this craft curves. It curves. So it comes down from the clouds, gets up to Mount Adams, and just in front of the east side of the mountain, it turns and curves up. It is the craziest. Now we have it in video. That is, it's what, we didn't even know what live pictures were until our kids told us how to use our iPhones, right? I'm not making this up. We're like, what's going on with this? Our kids are, that's called live. See, you press this button, stupid parent. But so that we have these 2 images in a row in the live footage, and we're able to couple them together and look at it. And so it comes down from the clouds, and it's going from east to west, comes down out of the clouds, gets up to Mount Adams, and then curves up and flies away. Incredible set of footage. And this is the other trippy thing. These are all daylight shots.
Yeah.
Right? It's one thing to talk about the nighttime stuff at ECETI, but we've gotten an incredible set of live daytime UFO captures that are just breathtaking.
Mm-hmm. And there's so much going on here. We don't have the time or the manpower. I mean, I have boxes and boxes of footage that I filmed, and we haven't even cataloged it. But we filmed less than not even 1% of the activity up here. But the footage we do have is just phenomenal. Especially on my birthday every year, they fly right over the ranch and power up right over the house here. So they've done that almost every year. I'm sure they'll probably do it again this year, but the footage we have, it's been analyzed. I've had NASA people look at it, everybody, and they say they're not ours. We have no idea who they are, and especially when they land on the mountain and morph into 3 and 4 ships at once and then take off, with a jet chasing them. And we showed this to James Todd at the OMSI Planetarium, and he goes, "Oh, that's the space shuttle," And so that's the kind of nonsense we have to deal with. But when you have a ship landing on the mountain, morphing into 3 or 4, going back to 1 again, I mean, how do you explain that? I mean, it's not a meteor, it's not a satellite, it's definitely not the space shuttle, and it's an unknown. We don't have things that morph into 3 from 1, and if you wrap your head around that, if you're on a ship and that ship can bilocate and morph into 3 ships, what does that do to your psyche knowing there's 2 more of you out there?
Exactly. And then I want to talk about this crazy gray orb that I saw. And I talked to you about it, but I want to address this orb issue. Because what I saw, what everybody saw with naked eye, this is right there in front of everybody. It's about 11 o'clock on Friday night, or it was Thursday night. And I'm looking across Skywatch Field. I'm sitting in the chair, just zoning out and enjoying the beautiful night. And then out across the field, at the back of the field, is probably a quarter mile away through the pine trees, this orb appears, and it comes out of the trees, and it kind of curves, it turns, and then it levitates in front of me, in front of everybody, and now it's this 50-foot, 2-dimensional, flat, fuzzy, gray object at the back of the field. Now, I thought I had something in my eye. That's what I thought. I had a floaty in my eye, right? And somebody in back of me says, "Is anybody watching this gray orb?" And I turn around and I'm like, "You mean this is real?" Right? I turn back around. It's gone. It lasted about 5 seconds. But I want the audience to understand what I'm trying to describe here. When you see orbs in photographs and they're 2-dimensional, this isn't a sphere, it's flat. And you see this, that's what this was. It was a flat, 2-dimensional gray object that appeared on the backside of the field there in front of everybody. This is with naked eye, and I could hear everybody murmuring about it. "Man, are you watching this gray orb?" Now you're doing it with night vision all night long. You've got your infrared and your fancy equipment, and you're watching the orbs dance across this field. But it's another thing for 50 or 100 people to see this appear and materialize with the naked eye. What is that? Is it a spirit? Is it what is? How do you explain that? Do you have any idea what showed itself for us?
Yeah, it might be a ship that was just phased out. And some of these ships, when you look at them, what we see with our eyes, if these are coming from another dimension, they could be like as much as like 1,200 times bigger than what we're seeing with our eyes. If you were to walk into that ship, all of a sudden you'd see something immense, much bigger than you can imagine. But there's so many different things going on here. We've been blowing up the pictures, the photographs of orbs, and we've seen everything from animal spirits inside the orbs to human spirits to masters, robed beings with beards, depending on what type of orb it is. The big golden orbs that we're taking pictures of usually have a being, inside them, a really high being. There's so many different aspects to orbs, and when we die, we have different bodies. We have an astral body that looks, it looks like the body we have here on Earth, but it's more refined. But as you move up the vibrational continuum, you actually become an orb. We become a light sphere, and I have photographs of a light sphere coming out of my chest while I'm talking with Golden Light Eagle, which is one of the Native American elders that used to come here quite a bit. I tell you, while I'm talking right now, the mountain is just lighting up, and there's a there's a cobalt blue light going off on the mountain right now.
Oh man.
It's way above the snow level. It's way up there.
I want to be there so bad. I know what's going on, too. That's the thing. I know what's really happening. There are people that are going to listen to this show, right, that the skeptics or whatever, they're going to roll their eyes listening to me and you talk about fairies and gray orbs and ships and spirits and and dimensional parallel world. You know, they're going to hear all. You know what? I don't care, man. I quite frankly don't care. And then the comments are going to follow.
Oh, yeah.
Which is this, James? They're up there getting high. You know, they're dropping acid. They're doing mushrooms. They're tripping, man. That's all that's going on. They're drinking. You have a strict no alcohol, no drug policy at ECETI. Nobody's walking around with a bottle of beer. Nobody's walking around with a bottle of wine or a chilled bottle of vodka. As much as I would love for that to be, that it does not. You have a zero tolerance policy, don't you?
Yeah. Sometimes every once in a while somebody will sneak off. It's a big ranch, and they'll sneak off in the back 40 and do something that we miss. But we make it very clear up front. No drugs, no alcohol, and because of that, mainly. First of all, you don't need them because the energy here will get you drunk anyway.
Right.
You'd be drunk on spirit when you really engage it.
Right.
But it's just not necessary, and we can do everything spiritually. We don't need the drugs, to have those experiences. So it's just not necessary. And actually, a lot of times that actually opens you up to lesser levels than we'd like to hold the frequency to. So
right.
So it lets other spirits in, other beings in, and then it makes us work harder because we have to clear that energy out.
Man, after everything that I experienced, the last thing that you need at ECETI is something to enhance the experience. Right? No way. I mean, your heart would blow up. I mean, seriously. I mean, your adrenaline, I cannot imagine. And then, okay, so all of this is going on. We have gray orbs. We have lights in the sky. We have parallel worlds going on. I'm tripping. I'm seeing crazy. It was just off the hook. And then to add the icing on the cake, Lorcan has his Bigfoot sighting. And we show up the next morning after just an extraordinary couple of days, and Lorcan comes right up to us, dude. I saw Bigfoot, and what? And again, I have to sit down and listen to his experience, and I know that it happened. I just want to share the experience with him. I'm not questioning. I don't think anybody came at him with that. I think everybody just wanted him to be very detailed with the experience because we wanted to know exactly what happened. It was just an extraordinary weekend. But James, I got to throw this back at you. How often does Bigfoot show up at ECETI?
We kind of have a resident Bigfoot here that hangs out named Delaki, and he kind of breaks the rules. He's a young one, a juvenile one, and they kind of usually shy away from humans and don't hang out too much, with humans. But he likes to kind of prank people sometimes. And I know you're aware of Clyde Lewis's story here. He really pranked him. He ran right up to him and skidded and stopped and looked him right in the face and then took off running back the other way. And we had several witnesses that saw that along with Clyde Lewis, and we actually got photographs of his footprints and things, so it was multiple witnesses. But this happens on a regular basis. There are all kinds of stories, and this being has the ability to phase in and out. I mean, we've documented that. I've seen them, 50 feet away where they just phase out and they're gone, walking across an open field.
Right.
And, they have that ability to shapeshift or phase in and out. But they're extremely advanced beings, very sensitive beings. And, they're not an ape. They're much more evolved than that. And they're more evolved than most humans, I hate to say.
Clyde called me up right before the show tonight. I'm going to be on Clyde's show. Well, we're going to do a simulcast tomorrow, so... Ground Zero is going to be on Fade to Black, and Fade to Black is going to be on Ground Zero. We do this every couple of months. But anyway, so he calls me up right before the show tonight, and he goes, so Jimmy, man, I just watched your video of ECETI. I said, yeah, I know. He goes, dude, I told you. I said, I know. Man, he said, it goes on up there. And he goes, and I think about ECETI. He's going to be up there, I think, next month with you, too, as well. And but he goes, when I think about ECETI, and he goes, it is the lights, and it is the dimensional beings, and all of that stuff is going on. But he goes, man, I saw Bigfoot there. And I don't care what anybody says. I saw Bigfoot. ECETI is, I said, you know what, Clyde? More people need to know about ECETI. They really, really do. He said, hey, you just took the words out of my mouth. It's that incredible of a place. And I can't wait to get back up there. I know that you and Ashley and Rita and I are all talking about our next visit up there. And I cannot wait to get back up there. Now, for you, James, you spend a lot of time also over in Hawaii. When you leave the ranch, I mean, for a long time, every time that I talk to you, you were away from the ranch. Do you miss it? Or do you see the same magical things that you get out of ECETI? Do they go on in other places like Hawaii or around the world, or is ECETI just a singular location?
Well, they do seem to follow me, and wherever I go, I know at Contact in the Desert, when we did our invocation there, we had like 85 ships documented by MUFON that came in, and that was pretty interesting. But wherever I go, when I was in Hawaii, we had ships flying over the house that I was staying at. When I go down to Mexico, people start seeing all kinds of ships and crazy activity. And down in Mexico, they don't shoot at them, so and it's part of their culture. So they're having a lot of contacts there. It's not a problem. Same thing when I went to Australia. I was hosted there by Peter Slattery and Salrita and Tara, and they actually became ECETI Australia after that. And we had the most amazing experiences. We're right in downtown Melbourne, and these ships are flying over his house. And, if you go to ECETI Australia, I think it's ECETIAustralia.org, check it out. It'll blow your mind. He's getting amazing photograph of all different types of ships. And these are below treetop level, are happening. And I don't know if you saw the second presentation I did, but, the Australia was actually the oldest known origin of man, even before Africa.
Right.
And the Aboriginal people will talk a lot about it. And I got to hang out with some Aboriginal elders and was initiated, into their tribe, basically. And we had so many ravens show up. I have it all on film, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ravens circling above us, landing in the trees and everything. It was crazy, but I was seeing the Janabi and all their spirit beings. I was having encounters with them, and when I talked to them about it and told them what I was seeing, they opened the doors and showed me a lot of things and shared a lot of stories with me about the Pleiadians and the ancient ancestors and how the Egyptians came back to Australia, near the Gosford Glyphs, that area, to regain the knowledge. They lost the knowledge and fell and collapsed, and they tried to get it back again. And the elders told them, no, you can't, you can read the stones and the other stuff, but you can't take it with you. So they tried to take it with them, and 2 of the pharaohs died, and it's all written there in stone. From the beginning, the star glyphs tell the origin, how these ships came in, and they tinkered with the Denisovian man, changed his DNA, boosted him up, continued to jump him up, and then and it goes on, and then the terraforming that went on, and then the Pleiadians came in and created Atlantis and Lemuria, and started those 2 colonies. But the real history of Earth is all written in stone right there. It's at the glyphs, and when you talk to the elders there, there's 2 things. One, we all have Aboriginal genes in our DNA. All of us do. We're all connected on that level. 2, the gold in Egypt came from Ballarat, Australia. The Egyptian gold, the pharaohs, all that gold came from Ballarat. And 3, which is totally not off the topic at all, but this massive light has just appeared on the mountain, and it's flashing. So I couldn't help but bring that up because it's undeniable. It's a huge light. It's way above the tree line, and it's thrown off.
Yeah, I know. It's throwing me off, too. What part of the mountain is it on? East, west?
It's on the left side. It's almost square in the middle, a little bit left.
Really?
And it's not where the usual door opens up. It's below it, and it's a little lower and to the left. But these guys can open a door wherever they want. They have that kind of technology.
When somebody says, and I said this too when I was looking at the lights on the mountain, I'm trying to rationalize things, and I'm thinking that it's got to be hikers, right? It's got to be hikers. But you need to constantly remind yourself that this mountain is 13 miles away. And if there was a human being on the side of that, it's a mountain, it's not a hill, it's a mountain. And if there's a human being on the side of the mountain, you would never see it. So that's the end of that. No matter what kind of electronic equipment they could possibly be carrying, it would have to be 50 hikers with bright candle power floodlights all pointing back to ECETI. That is right.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So I know that it's not hikers. What is it, James? Vicariously, tell me, what is it that you're seeing right now? How big do you think that it is? Is it moving? What color are the lights?
Well, this one here, it was blue, kind of a bluish color. Now it's kind of changing colors, but it's moving at a very rapid rate up the mountain, and it's going over lava faces, glaciers, just treacherous. There's no way anything or anybody, and it's not a skier, it's going up, Right. It's actually at the door now, the usual door that opens, whatever it is, it's at that door right now. And probably going to go in, but
man, I'm just so jealous.
It's undeniable, this thing. If somebody could look, one day I actually did that. I'll have to find that footage. I drove up there to the bottom, hiked up there, and I showed people the terrain that these things are. They call it goat rocks because the only thing that can travel up there are goats, basically. But the terrain that this thing just went up, it went over two lava rock faces, huge cliffs, and kept going up, went across a glacier, up, and now it's going up two other lava faces, like thick, lava faces. So, this is not, if this is a hiker, he's breaking all climbing records on the planet. It's moving up so fast.
Well,
the light is so massive, it's impossible.
Yeah,
and nobody hikes there.
I know it's not hikers.
It's off the trail. It's off the trail that they go up to ascend the mountain.
What about a 24-hour webcam just pointed at the mountain, recording? Have you ever thought about doing that?
I have. We just didn't have the bandwidth to do things up here, but we did get 3 new lines and to do that, and we're setting it up. And just when we got everything hooked up to where we could do things like that and really kind of go launch ECETI and get the information out there, they actually sold too much, bandwidth to, and now everything's slowed down to a snail's pace. But they are putting fiber optics that are going to speed everything up again. So they said this September they'll have all the fiber optics lines in as well. So now that is way up. It's probably 2/3 up past the snow line now, this object, and it's right dead center.
Is anybody in Skywatch Field right now?
I don't see anybody, actually.
James has his house is this really cool observatory. It's pretty badass. So he's got this roof, but James's house, his own house, is right behind the Skywatch Field. He's got the best view of course he would, it's his pad. And then he's got a roof with railings, so you can go up on the roof there too as well. So when he's describing this to us, he's looking out his window right at Mount Adams. It's the most supreme view probably in all of Trout Lake. Now, I wanted to ask you, thank you for hanging on a little bit late here. I wanted to ask you, what do your neighbors think? I didn't get to ask you this. What do your neighbors think about what goes on there?
Well, in the beginning, they thought I was like Satan worshiping and things like that. And all kinds of crazy rumors were going around, everything to meth labs to, we were stoned and drunk or whatever, And then after, I've been here for 30 years and I've helped out so many people here in the neighbors, there's neighbors that actually lost their land and didn't have any places for their horses or animals. And we took them in and helped them out. So, over the years, people that just got to know me realized that, I was very grounded and very grounded in science too. And I could prove what I was saying. And they also have a healthy respect for me because I don't take any crap, from, I'm pretty straight up with people and they kind of respect that. And, we've had a lot of problems here with people trying to shut us down and shut the ranch down and things like that. And because I stood up to it, they're all, the whole town here is kind of, on our side. But, when I got here, this place was basically a ghost town, and now it's thriving, and everybody's doing really well. So there's a lot of benefits, that came from bringing a lot of people up here. And
it has to be that way because it is a very small community, and everybody there knows everybody's business, which brings me to this next question. Right as you approach ECETI, you come around the corner there, and you can see right behind your property, there is a very large house. It's a mansion that's sitting on the hill overlooking ECETI. So do you know that neighbor? And clearly that neighbor can see everything that's going on at ECETI, the Skywatch, the lasers, the hooping and the hollering. They are witness to all of that. Do you know that neighbor? Well, of course you do. You know who lives in that house.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They're really nice people. They're wonderful people. I haven't had any in-depth conversations about the UFOs and things, but, I know they've seen them, and my neighbors on both sides have seen the ships, and, they flew 4 ships right over. It's a very large Baptist community, and they had a big jamboree, and they threw 4 ships right over this jamboree and parked and just sat there for like 20 minutes. And we have the footage of it. And, and they came over here, and we had 17 ministers come here, and I had a Bible study with them. And I showed them where everything I was talking about was in the Bible, and, where reincarnation is in the Bible, the ships are in the Bible, everything.
How'd that go over?
You know what? They all except one guy got really angry. He started getting really angry, and I could feel his energy behind me. And I just turned around and I looked at him. I said, Paul said when you're walking in love, you're walking with God. And I don't know who you're walking with right now, but I'm feeling a lot of anger coming from you. And he just sat back down again. He sat back down again and that was it. But they afterwards, they said, you know what, we're going to go home and study, and we'll be back. And I said, I would love to have more conversations with you. And I think they're kind of shocked that I knew the Bible forward and backward, and I could quote it and show them everything is in the Bible.
So I got to ask you though, the neighbor in the mansion, right? That would be on the west side of you, up on the hill. A retired Silicon Valley guy? I mean, that's a pretty nice pad.
He used to own a chain of restaurants.
I knew it. Right.
And I don't know, I can't remember what. It's like a Spires or something like that.
Yeah, McDonald's.
But, but he used to own a chain of restaurants, and so he's retired, and he's got family up here, and they own the hardware store, and they love the stuff going on here. The people at the hardware store were all, every time I go in there, they go, hey, this is James Gilliland, and he's famous. I go, yeah, no, I'm not. It's like, I'm just like, I come in there just covered with dirt because I'm digging ditches and things like that. And it's kind of funny because, people come on the ranch here, and, I'll be in the middle of, putting a ditch in or something like that. And it says, hey, does James ever come out? And I go, nah, that guy, we work our butts out.
Yeah, he's pretentious. Yeah.
Yeah. And they go, really? And then all of a sudden the event starts and I go up on stage, and they go, I can't believe it, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah, every time, I'll just say this really quick. Over the last couple of months, every time that I talked to James, and we were doing it like every couple of days there for a while, every time that he picked up the phone, I'm like, what are you doing? Dude, I'm building a yurt. Right? Yeah. You are always building something and always working. And so there you go. Hey, James, thank you so much, my friend. And this is exciting times for ECETI. You have been blessed with this opening. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But it is big. It's large. It's on the top of Mount Adams. These rumors and things have been going around for a couple of decades now. Well, now it's there. So let's capture something on film. Let's get a craft going in or out of there. Let's try to figure out what's going on. Maybe get a drone up there. Maybe let's rent a plane. Let's get some close-up footage. But we have something to investigate, and that's what's most important. It's a very exciting time for you and ECETI.
Yeah, we know where to look, and so we can, we can check out all the caves and all the other places and get some really good high definition, footage of this. And I'm sure we'll be visited, while we're up there.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you maybe next month. Rita and I are coming back. We look forward to that. But until then, enjoy your birthday and have a great celebration up there. And do it right. Just don't get arrested, okay?
All right. Thanks for having me on the show. Have a good evening.
You too, James. James Gilliland, ECETI Ranch, ECETIEvents.com. ECETIEvents.com. We have all the links up over at jimmychurchradio.com. I'll be right back with all of the news that you know absolutely nothing about. This is Fade to Black.
Listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much
that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Reggie, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I want to thank James Gilliland. ECETI is all that. If you get a chance, I had said for months, this was our bucket list to get up to ECETI and witness and see the things that we did. We did not expect. We were caught by surprise with this opening that appeared on the top of the mountain. I still can't explain it away. All I can do, along with everybody else, is present the evidence out there and try to figure out what's going on. I had said to everybody up at ECETI, there was 100 or 150 people there that were witnesses to this. And I told them and I assured them that I would present this out there to the world. I was for them. And that's what's most important here. It's something that we had the experience and the events unfolded in front of us. We all saw it together, and that's it. You know, take what we have, take all of the photographs. Look, I have hundreds and hundreds of photographs that were taken over those 5 days that were sent to me from others too as well, plus the 100 or so that I took. And compile it and look at all the historical data, look at all of the other pictures out there, and try to figure this out. That's why it took about a week. I wanted to make sure. But what I chose to do was get everything together for those that were there and just lay it out there. Let's just try to figure this out. Okay, and that's what we have done. I don't care what people say that weren't there. I could care less. Just take a look at it and let's do this, because I know that those 150 people that were up there with us, that they're going to look back at this weekend, and it was a special thing that we went through together. And we'll be able to look back and go, dude, I was there that day. I was there when it went down. And you put the video together and you've spoken about this. Thank you for that. Because I've told friends and I've told family about this, and it's crazy, but it actually happened. Now, how this plays out, you know, is it a natural cave or is it something else? I don't know. But how it plays out in the future, we will be able to say that this was the weekend that it was discovered, and we did this together. And that's it. It's ECETI is a special place. You really, really need to take it upon yourself just to go up there and hang out. Whatever happens to you or for you or with you while you're there, it's your own personal experience. That's it. It's just that. That's all it is. It's nuts, man. It's nuts. Just I can't wait to get back there. Okay. Thank you, James Gilliland. Again, ECETIevents.com. Go and check it out. I've got some crazy, crazy news that you may not have heard about, and I want to get into some of this. It's pretty nuts. All the news that you knew absolutely nothing about. Hobby Lobby. Okay? Hobby Lobby. A couple of months ago, I did a story about Hobby Lobby has built a Bible religious artifacts museum right there in Washington, D.C. And huge, with all of these artifacts and thousands of artifacts, everything on display, biblical stuff and so forth, right? Okay. And it's just artifacts. Well, listen to this. Hobby Lobby has agreed to forfeit thousands of artifacts from Iraq and pay a $3 million fine to resolve the civil action the Justice Department brought against the company. That's right. The company bought falsely labeled artifacts from a United Arab Emirates-based supplier and dealer. The artifacts, are you ready? Ancient cuneiform tablets and clay ball seals were smuggled into the United States through the United Arab Emirates and Israel. The dealers working with Hobby Lobby falsely labeled the shipments as ceramics, I'm doing air quotes, and samples, and illegally shipped them to Hobby Lobby stores and 2 corporate offices. A total of 5,548 cuneiform tablets and seals from ancient Mesopotamia were purchased for $1.6 million in December 2010 and then smuggled them into the United States. Some things you just can't make up. Now, without naming now the owner of Hobby Lobby and the head of the family and how this was done, they have admitted the guilt and they paid this $3 million fine and apparently are returning some of these artifacts, not all of them. Cuneiform clay tablets. Now, who knows what was on those tablets? You know, obviously Sitchin comes into play here. The Anunnaki comes into play here. What information was on these? Was it some of that? Right? And this is an example of we don't know what is going. Somebody just said ISIS selling artifacts. This is done in 2010. But nonetheless, right? This information that it could be history changing, the real deal, it falls into private hands and is purchased with the elite that has this kind of money. And it's out of circulation, it's out of museums, it's out of scientific, it's out of any archaeologist or any other historian's ability to go back and look at this historical data and translate it. And they did it for $1.6 million. Unbelievable. 5,000. Now, the number that has been officially thrown about is that there were 100,000 clay cuneiform tablets that were found, right? 100,000. Over 5,000 of them end up in private hands with money. Unbelievable. I mean, it just makes my blood boil. Yeah, there's the Hobby Lobby Museum right there. There it is. There it is. That'll get a retweet. All right. Thank you for that, Mark. Now, on top of that, while the United States influence and the government's influence, Washington's influence in Hollywood is no secret. I talk about it all the time. New documents reveal the staggering extent of CIA and Pentagon influence across hundreds of movies and TV shows. Researchers Tom Secker and Matthew Alford secured 4,000 new pages of Pentagon and CIA documents using the Freedom of Information requests, which show how U.S. intelligence has been behind the scenes on more than 800 movies and 1,000 TV shows. While it may not be surprising to learn that the CIA was involved in Argo or Zero Dark 30, how about the Pentagon's influence in Hulk, Transformers, Avatar, and even, wait for it, Meet the Parents. That's right. And if you think about it, it makes sense because De Niro's Father Fokker character was an ex-spy with that secret room in his basement. Remember that? It makes you wonder a bit about it now, doesn't it? And as for television, check this out. We have Cupcake Wars, Oprah, and America's Got Talent all being influenced by either the Department of Defense or the CIA. Yeah, man. Well, archaeologists at Mexico's Teotihuacan ruins have found evidence that the city's builders dug a tunnel beneath the Pyramid of the Moon, and researchers said one of its purposes may have been to emulate the underworld. The National Institute of Anthropology and History said that researchers used a kind of computerized tomography to scan and discover the apparent tunnel about 30 feet below the surface of the plaza in front of the pyramid. The CT scan suggests that the tunnel may have been filled in during antiquity. Other tunnels have been discovered there, and one at the Temple of the Plumed Serpent has been explored. Now, Teotihuacan has its apex between 100 BC and about 750 AD, with about 100,000 residents. But this is what is crazy, and I talk about this enough. It was abandoned before the rise of the Aztecs in the 14th century, and the tombs for the city's elite, those leaders, have never been found. Now, I'll leave you with this. Every Volvo introduced from 2019 forward will now have an electric motor. The automaker will only launch EVs, hybrids, and mild hybrid vehicles. Moving away from a lineup dominated by pure gas and diesel cars is a big change for the automaker, which hasn't yet launched a fully electric vehicle. To make up for lost time, though, Volvo will introduce 5 EVs between 2019 and 2021. In addition to those 5 EVs, Volvo will offer a range of gas and diesel plug-in hybrids throughout the lineup. Wow, big changes here on planet Earth. And that concludes another episode of Fade to Black. And I want to thank James Gilliland for coming in tonight. That's pretty cool. He's just looking out his window and stuff is going down on Mount Adams. Thank you, James. Everybody up at ECETI Ranch. It is a very special place. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Shows produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark T. Kovar, LJ3, Renee, Jonas. Thank you, Dennis, and thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale, Webmaster, Drew, The Geek, Music, Doug Aldrich, Intro, Spaceboy, SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter. Tomorrow night, it's the Bermuda Triangle. That's right. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. Until tomorrow night, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.